He was only 20 years old when he became king. Within a decade, he would destroy the greatest empire on earth and build one of the largest the world had ever seen. This is the story of Alexander the Great. If you want to understand how one man reshaped the ancient world and why his legacy still echoes through history, this is where it begins. If you're new to historical truth, subscribe now, because history isn't just the past, it explains the present. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the kingdom of Macedon. His father, King Philip II, was a brilliant military strategist who transformed Macedon into a dominant power in Greece. But Alexander was not raised as just a warrior. He was taught to think. His tutor was Aristotle, one of the greatest minds in history. From him, Alexander learned philosophy, science, politics, and the idea that he was destined for greatness. But destiny would come early. In 336 BC, Philip II was assassinated. At just 20 years old, Alexander became king, and almost immediately everything began to unravel. Greek city-states saw an opportunity to break free. Rebellions sparked. Enemies circled. Alexander moved fast. He crushed the uprisings with brutal efficiency. The city of Thebes rebelled, and Alexander destroyed it completely. A message to the world: his rule would not be challenged. But Greece was not his goal. Beyond the Aegean Sea lay the greatest empire on earth. The Achaemenid Empire, rich, vast, powerful, and vulnerable. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed into Asia with an army of around 40,000 men. He was outnumbered, out-resourced, facing an empire that stretched across continents. But he had something Persia did not: speed, strategy, and absolute belief. The first major clash came at the Battle of Granicus. Against seasoned Persian forces, Alexander led from the front, personally charging into battle. It was risky, it worked. The Persian defenses broke, Asia Minor began to fall, then came Issus. There, Alexander faced the Persian king himself, Darius III. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander used terrain and precision to shatter the Persian line. Darius fled. His family was captured. The image of Persian invincibility was gone. But Alexander didn't stop. He moved south, securing the Mediterranean coast. City after city fell except one: Tyre, a heavily fortified island city impossible to reach, impossible to conquer. But Alexander didn't accept impossible. He ordered the construction of a massive causeway, turning the sea into land. After 7 months of siege, Tyre fell. It was a warning. No city was beyond his reach. Then Egypt. Unlike Persia, Egypt welcomed him. He was crowned pharaoh. And there he founded a city that would carry his name for centuries, Alexandria. But the war was not over. The final confrontation came in 331 BC at Gaugamela, a vast battlefield. Darius had assembled one of the largest armies in history: chariots, cavalry, infantry in overwhelming numbers. Everything was prepared to crush Alexander once and for all. But numbers were not enough. Alexander saw the weakness. He led a precise, devastating charge directly at the center. The Persian line broke. Darius fled again. This time, for the last time, the Persian Empire collapsed. Babylon fell, Susa fell, Persepolis, the heart of Persian power, was taken. The empire that had ruled the world was finished. But Alexander wasn't satisfied. He pushed further east into lands unknown, across deserts, mountains, and rivers. His empire stretched from Greece to Egypt to India. No king had ever gone this far. But conquest has a cost. Years of war exhausted his army. Far from home, in unfamiliar lands, his soldiers began to resist. At the Hyphasis River in India, they refused to go further. For the first time, Alexander turned back. In 323 BC, in the city of Babylon, Alexander fell ill. Within days, he was dead. He was just 32 years old. No clear heir, no solid succession plan. The empire he built began to fracture almost immediately. His generals divided it. War followed. And the empire that had risen so quickly was gone. But Alexander's legacy did not disappear. It spread. Greek culture, language, and ideas mixed with those of Persia, Egypt, and beyond. A new world emerged. The Hellenistic world. Cities flourished. Knowledge expanded. Trade connected distant lands. Alexander had not just conquered territory. He had connected civilizations. So what made Alexander different? It wasn't just ambition. It was vision. He didn't just defeat Persia, he absorbed it. He adopted elements of Persian culture, governance, and identity. He understood something few conquerors ever did. Power is not just about control, it's about integration. But his story also carries a warning. Empires built too fast often collapse just as quickly, without structure, without succession. Without stability, even the greatest victories fade. If this story changed how you see history, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Historical Truth, because the past is never truly gone. It lives in the systems, the cultures, and the world we see today. And this is only the beginning.